This is Diatomaceous Earth, a filter element. You may find the bag a little bit confusing. The Leslie Pool one says that you want to use 3 pounds for a 24 square foot, 4.5 pounds for a 36, and so on. Also gives you coffee cup full cans also on the back. The other brand of DE, it actually uses quarts as measurements for this filter sizes. So to eliminate any confusion, just go with the Aladdin DE scoop, and that will be your measurement tool for DE. I would highly recommend buying a scoop at your local pool store or online, and that will eliminate any confusion from reading the back of the bags. This here is your basic DE filter grid, and basically the DE is what actually filters, and the grid is just there to hold the DE in place. So if you add too little DE, the element won't coat the grid enough, and dirt will kind of stick to it and stain it, and it won't filter properly. If you add too much DE to it, it'll cause the filter to be compacted with DE, and it won't filter as efficiently either. So you want to just have the right amount of DE in your filter for it to work efficiently. And on the bottom of the cup, the Aladdin cup, you'll see it printed here. It says for every 5 square feet of a vertical filter, you want to add 1 full scoop of DE. And here's a 60 square foot DE filter, and again I would use 10 scoops of this full of DE, and you can definitely use the recommended 12 scoops that's recommended by Aladdin. It won't make much of a difference, but again I always have been using a little bit less DE in my filters. And this filter was cleaned about a month ago, and you can see the pressure gauge is still really good. So the amount of DE that I use does not affect the quality of the water or the clarity and of the filtering capacity. This is a 48 square foot DE filter, and I normally would use 8 scoops of DE, and the cup actually recommends almost 10 scoops of DE for the size filter. This is a 36 square foot filter right here. I would put 6 scoops in, and the scooper recommends actually 7. And before you charge your filter, you want to make sure that the pump basket is clear of any kind of debris. You want to clean that out really good. You definitely want to add DE when there's no young children or dogs around. Lock the animals up, keep them away from the dust. I would highly recommend wearing a gas mask or goggles when you use the DE. It is a carcinogen in its powdered form, and the silicate can get in your lungs and cause lung cancer if you have large exposure to it. Once it gets wet, it's no longer a carcinogen, so nothing to worry about then, but definitely wear a mask. Some instructions recommend that you dilute it in water and slush it around. That's not necessary. You can add it slowly to the skimmer, 1 scoop at a time, and let it kind of absorb it. Now you want to check the return lines for any leaks. You want to come over to the return line and see if any earth leaks back in before you add more. You want to make sure that there's no leakage back into the pool. So everything looked fine over there, so I'm going to keep adding the scoops of DE. And again, this is a 60 square foot filter, so my recommendation is 10 scoops of these. And again, the cup recommends 12 scoops. You can't go wrong either way. So after adding those 10 scoops, if there was a DE leak, you would definitely notice the water becoming very cloudy. The good question is how much earth to put back in when you backwash your filter. I usually backwash the filter for about 1 minute, 1.5 minutes at the most. So the amount of earth you put in, usually for a filter this size, 60 square feet, I put 3 or 4 scoops in. If it's a 48 or 36 square foot, I'll put 2 or 3 scoops. Again, it's not an exact science, but that's just what I usually put in, and it seems to do fine between cleaning cycles, backwashing it once or twice, and putting that amount of earth in.